I have the pleasant task this evening to welcome you to the University of the Western Cape, and in particular to welcome you to the launch of the DST-NRF-UWC Flagship on Critical Thought in African Humanities. Minister, it's been an exciting week for UWC. As I go through all of the events since Monday, it struck me that this is actually the week that our students are on semester break. And so since Monday, most of our students has been off campus, some of them, I believe, in Stellenbosch. But we're having such an exciting week with the students off campus. I hesitate to believe the old saying that a university would be such a great place if only there were no students. Fortunately, at UWC, we value and we treasure our students. Minister, this morning at the announcement of the SARCHI 42, as it is now known, someone referred to the golden era of science development under the watch of Minister Naledi Pandor. Minister, as a university, given the amazing and tremendous developments at UWC in the last 5 to 6 years, we echo these sentiments, and we say proudly that the science development and the science research at UWC bears testimony to this golden era under your watch. I've already said this is a good week for UWC. We are really enjoying it. And we want to encourage the ministry and its department, as well as the NRF, to keep on performing in the way that it does. Clearly, UWC benefits if you perform in this way. At this morning's announcement of the SARCHI 42, UWC was awarded 2 SARCHI chairs for women researchers in visual history and theory and health system governance, respectively. I was a bit cheesed of Minister that my 2 neighboring institutions received 5. We are also the proud recipient of a further chair in social protection for food security, funded as part of the South African UK bilateral agreement. I think it's only proper this morning we congratulated Professor Patricia Hayes, Helen Schneider, and I think it's only proper that we, on home soil tonight, give them a warm round of applause. And tomorrow morning, Minister, we look forward to your announcement of the establishment of an institutional large data science center in astronomy, a collaborative initiative between UWC, UCT, and Northwest University. I've been spending so much time with NRF and with DST since this morning. I've actually been noticing the change in clothes. I've noticed Dr. Pillay has got in a different suit. And so does Tandi. These initiatives, the SARCHI chairs that we were awarded this morning, is in addition to 2 of our existing SARCHI chairs having been honored last week and this week. Professor Maria Trindade recently received the 2015 Distinguished Young Scientist, Women Scientist Award, Minister, as you well know. And then Professor Alan Christoffels, who's also here tonight, received the Hamilton Naki Award for transformation of the science cohort. Please join me in congratulating them. Minister, these achievements, I once again say, bears testimony to the golden era of science development at UWC and in our country. Long may it continue. And tonight, We welcome all of you to share in another success story, this time about the humanities. Exactly a year ago, on this day, I started as Vice-Chancellor Designate under my predecessor, Professor O'Connell. As part of my orientation during that time, I went on what the Australians call a walkabout. And I spent a lot of time meeting and greeting the leadership of the different faculties. And so I ended up in the arts faculty. And having some experience about how, the challenges and the constraints of higher education systems in different contexts, I habitually compare what is happening to UWC to what is happening in the sector and what is happening internationally. And so knowing about the global gloom and the erosion of public confidence and funding levels for the humanities, I dared to ask in this meeting with the leadership of the arts faculty, I dared to ask, how was UWC coping with the crisis in the humanities? I expected, as one always does, to be bombarded with doom and gloom stories about the neglect of the humanities, about the underspending in the humanities. Indeed, given the life sciences, the impressive life sciences building and the chemistry building as you enter the campus, I expected it to be much worse at UWC. To my surprise, the Deputy Dean of Arts responded quite assertively by saying, "What crisis? There's no crisis in the humanities at UWC." And that Deputy Dean of Art happens to be Professor Pramesh Lalu, the Director of the Center for Humanities. Minister, tonight I can confidently state that there's no crisis in the humanities at UWC. The humanities at UWC is in good shape. And I think you and your team and the NRF made a good choice in selecting UWC as a institutional flagship. Last night, when we celebrated the legacy of the late Professor Gerwel, we were all proudly reminded of the intellectual role that UWC played in helping to bring about a just and equitable dispensation. When UWC faced its darkest moments and the threats of merger loomed, my predecessor, Professor O'Connell, issued a rallying call to the campus community to tap into their inner strengths, to identify possible areas of strengths, and to develop niche areas. With no resources other than sheer determination and passion, Professor Lalu and his team of researchers and students built the humanities into an intellectually charged center for advanced research and scholarly work. And it firmly confirmed the nexus between the university and society by embedding its research in the neighboring communities. You saw some of that on the displays outside, Minister. So tonight, with this launch of this flagship, we're also thanking you, Professor O'Connell, our previous Vice-Chancellor. We thank you for the foresight, the consistent scholarly interest, and the intellectual investment in the humanities. It is now reaping the fruit of your foresight. We're not therefore doing too badly in maintaining and building on your legacy and that of our erstwhile DVC, Professor Baruthram. Please join me in congratulating and applauding the foresight and the leadership of my predecessor, Professor O'Connell. Minister, as a university community, we are filled with absolute delight by locating the first flagship program on critical thought in African humanities at a historically disadvantaged university, such as UWC, where apartheid imposed its harsh limitations. Such a decision speaks volumes speak volumes of your confidence in us to enhance the critical potential of the humanities in South Africa and beyond. I am sure that this investment will lead to the kind of partnerships and intellectual vibrancy that will spread across other disciplines to develop and support and sustain an inspiring vision. I trust all of you will enjoy this evening and this celebration with us at UWC. God bless.